Hi, my name's Emma Bourgeois. I studied in Yaroslavl fall of 2015. Anya sent me an email asking to talk about Yaroslavl for students hoping to go there, and she sent me a list of questions. So the first question is why Russia, why Yaroslavl? I wanted to study abroad in Russia because I'm a Russian studies major, and I chose Yaroslavl because I wanted a smaller scale city with less opportunities to hear and speak English, and I didn't want to study as far as Siberia. What would I recommend students to bring? Definitely vitamins. The diet is quite different in Russia. There's less fruits than in America, I'd say. I'd recommend cold medicine. It's quite different there, and it's harder to find, I guess. And I would definitely, for girls, don't listen to the handbook. Backpacks are commonly used in Russia by females, so feel free to bring a backpack. It's much more convenient for getting around Yaroslavl than bringing a handbag. What was difficult? The first month was quite difficult, I thought, from a social standpoint because the program is quite small. When I was there was one other student, and I lived with an elderly Russian woman, so I wasn't used to such little social contact. But as time goes by, it'll get easier. Things will normalize. I made a lot of Russian friends. You will too, and you won't even remember the loneliness from the first month. Culture shock. I didn't really experience much culture shock. I think, if anything, Russians are more direct or frank than Americans, but not in a critical way. One thing, it's not weird for a Russian to approach you that doesn't know you, especially at the university, and to want to get to know you. So, and in Yaroslavl, Americans aren't necessarily a regular sight. There aren't a lot of foreigners. So if they hear English, if they know that you're an American, they'll probably approach you, and you should feel completely comfortable talking to them. Homesickness. I definitely felt a fair amount of homesickness. I studied abroad before in high school, and my coordinator then, I think, said it well, that when you're studying abroad, your highs are high and your lows are low. In Yaroslavl, there's a McDonald's, there's a Starbucks, and I found solace in going there because even though everyone speaks Russian there, it just helps to be in a familiar place. There's also a great website called Kinopisk that has a lot of American movies in Russian, so you're not breaking the language pledge. And finally, I would say buying some books in Russian that you know well. I bought a couple of the Harry Potter books because I knew the stories well, and I found them comforting, and also because I knew the story so well, I could guess a lot of the vocabulary, so it helped me learn some new words. Classes. I didn't take any mainstream. I listened in on a few and didn't really enjoy them, so I stuck with the core program classes. So when I was there, I took politics, grammar, culture, and film, which were all great. When Leah and I arrived, we didn't really have a choice in our classes because the program was just 2 students, so it was set, but they were all very interesting, and if ever you feel as though you need more practice, feel free reaching out to Anya. I did partway through the semester, I wanted some more Russian practice, and I added a course in lexicon and a course in grammar, and that was really helpful. Teachers are a little bit different than American professors. They are more authoritarian, they expect more respect than Americans might be used to giving, but also many of the professors have worked with the Middlebury program for a long time and are fairly Americanized, so they say that they love questions. A lot of my professors told me that they tell their Russian students, you know why I love working with Americans? Because they're interactive and they love asking questions. You guys should ask more questions. So that was funny. Yeah, I think that's all I have about classes. Friends. You can meet a lot of friends at the university. Eat in the cafeteria. That's a great way to interact with more students. I personally met my friends through my internship, so I definitely recommend doing an internship. In general, like I said before, Russians are very curious about the American students, so if you don't approach them, I'm sure sooner or later they'll approach you. Language pledge. It's certainly frustrating for a little while at the beginning, but I recommend sticking with it. You can read, like I said before, books you know well. That really helps. That Kinopisk website is great. Speak with your host mom. As you meet friends, it'll become easier, and it'll get easier over time. And Anya and the professors will know if you haven't been practicing it. If your Russian isn't getting any better, they'll know that you've been cheating. So in conclusion, I loved studying Yaroslavl. I think it was a great choice. It's a smaller city, easy to navigate. there is some transportation. There's trolleys, there's taxis. It's easy to get to and from Moscow. There's a fast train that takes about 3 hours. Um, there's transfers, which are cars that can take you. There's lots of restaurants. There's movies. I would say there's less museums, but I think the meaningful connections you make with locals, which is much easier in a city like Yaroslavl than Moscow, for instance, really outweighs uh, the lesser number of museums, for instance.